When preparing for interviews, one of the most effective frameworks to answer behavioral questions is the STAR model. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Many employers use behavioral interview questions to understand how you acted in the past, because that often predicts how you might act in the future. The STAR method gives you a structured way to tell your story, keeping your answers clear and easy to follow. Interviewers appreciate candidates who can explain their experiences in a logical way. Rather than giving vague answers, the STAR approach ensures that you highlight the context, your role, the steps you took, and the outcome you achieved. This method works across industries, from entry-level jobs to executive positions. To help you prepare, let us explore common STAR model interview questions, along with sample answers and tips. These examples will give you a sense of how to structure your own responses and present your experiences with confidence. Question 1. Tell me about a time when you faced a challenge at work. Here's how you can approach it. Start with the situation and task. For example, in my previous job as a project coordinator, we had a major campaign that was running behind schedule because a supplier delayed their delivery. Then move to the action. I contacted alternative vendors, negotiated expedited delivery, and reorganized our timeline so that dependent tasks could continue in parallel. Finally, share the result. As a result, we completed the campaign only one day later than planned, and the client was satisfied with the outcome. Tip: choose a challenge where you had an active role in solving the issue. Keep the focus on what you did, not only on what the team accomplished. Question 2. Describe a time when you worked as part of a team. Here's how you can approach it. Begin with the situation. While working in my previous role, our department was tasked with launching a new customer feedback system. Define your task. My role was to coordinate between the IT team and customer service. Then explain the action. I scheduled regular check-ins, clarified technical requirements, and created training materials for the service team. Finally, share the result. The system was launched successfully within 3 months, and customer response times improved by 30%. Tip: teamwork stories should highlight communication, collaboration, and your ability to adapt. Even if the achievement was collective, emphasize your personal contribution. Question 3. Give me an example of when you took initiative. Here's how you can approach it. Explain the situation. At my last company, we noticed that customer complaints about late responses were increasing. State your task. Although it wasn't formally my responsibility, I wanted to improve the process. Then describe the action. I created a shared dashboard where the team could track open tickets, and I set up daily reminders for unresolved cases. Share the result. This cut our average response time in half and increased customer satisfaction ratings by 20%. Tip: employers value initiative because it shows leadership potential. Make sure your story demonstrates how you went beyond what was expected. Question 4. Tell me about a time when you dealt with conflict. Here's how you can approach it. Start with the situation. In one project, 2 colleagues disagreed about the priority of certain tasks. Then outline the task. As the team lead, it was my responsibility to resolve the issue and keep progress on track. Next, move to the action. I brought both parties together, encouraged them to share their concerns, and helped them find common ground. We created a compromise by adjusting the schedule to accommodate both perspectives. Finally, highlight the result. The project moved forward smoothly, and the team reported better collaboration afterward. Tip: conflict stories should always end positively. Show that you are diplomatic, fair, and focused on solutions. Question 5. Can you share an example of achieving a goal? Here's how you can approach it. Explain the situation. Our sales team was tasked with increasing quarterly revenue by 15%. Then clarify the task. My role was to develop new client relationships in a competitive market. Next, the action. I created a targeted outreach plan, used data analysis to identify high-potential leads, and worked closely with marketing to align messaging. Finally, the result. By the end of the quarter, we exceeded the goal and achieved a 20% increase in revenue. Tip: goal-related answers should include numbers or measurable outcomes. Quantifying your success makes your achievement more convincing. Question 6. Describe a time when you had to adapt to change. Here's how you can approach it. Start with the situation. In my previous company, a sudden shift to remote work created challenges for our communication. State the task. As a supervisor, I had to ensure productivity and morale stayed high. Then explain the action. I set up virtual team meetings, introduced new collaboration tools, and created a weekly feedback channel. Finally, show the result. The transition was smooth, and our team actually increased efficiency by 10% while working remotely. Tip: adaptability stories should highlight resilience, problem-solving, and openness to new ideas. Employers want people who can handle uncertainty. Question 7. Share an example of when you made a mistake and how you handled it. Here's how you can approach it. Begin with the situation. Early in my career, I overlooked an important client email, which caused a delay. Then the task. My responsibility was to repair the relationship and prevent similar issues. Next, the action. I called the client directly, apologized sincerely, resolved the issue quickly, and set up a personal reminder system for future communications. Finally, highlight the result. The client appreciated my honesty, continued working with us, and I never missed a client email again. Tip: be honest, but do not share mistakes that suggest incompetence. Show accountability, learning, and growth. How to approach any STAR interview question. Here's how you can approach it. First, listen carefully to the question and identify which type of situation it is asking about: teamwork, conflict, leadership, or achievement. Second, structure your answer with the STAR flow. Keep each part balanced, but put the most emphasis on your actions and the results. Third, keep your examples relevant to the role you are interviewing for. Finally, practice telling your stories out loud so they sound natural, not rehearsed. Tip: have at least 5 STAR stories prepared in advance that can be adapted to different questions. With practice, you can use the same core story to answer multiple behavioral questions. Conclusion: STAR model interview questions are powerful because they reveal not just what you did, but how you think, how you act, and what outcomes you achieve. Employers use this method to separate vague candidates from those who can clearly explain their contributions. By preparing structured STAR stories, you can answer confidently and leave a strong impression. Whether you are talking about challenges, teamwork, leadership, or adaptability, remember the flow: situation, task, action, and result. Focus on your role, keep the story clear, and highlight positive outcomes. With this approach, you not only answer the interviewer's question but also demonstrate self-awareness, problem-solving, and professionalism. In the end, mastering STAR interview answers is less about memorization and more about preparation. With thoughtful examples and clear delivery, you can show employers that you are the right person for the role and for their team.